All right, so we're diving into Chapter 11 of Frankenstein. And this is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Because we really start to see the creature's mind and senses develop.
Yeah, it's like witnessing a being come to life
Right.
mentally and emotionally.
Yeah.
And, at the beginning, he's completely overwhelmed by
Right.
this, chaotic jumble of senses.
It's hard to even imagine being
Yeah.
bombarded by sensations
Right.
with no framework for understanding them.
Absolutely. And what I find so fascinating is how quickly he begins to make sense of it all.
Yeah.
It really highlights this just incredible adaptability
Yeah.
of even a newly formed consciousness.
He actually describes it himself in the book. He says, "It was indeed a long time before I learned to distinguish between the operations of my various senses."
That quote really underscores how alien his initial experience was.
I mean, imagine not being able to separate
Yeah.
the feeling of touch from the sound of birdsong.
It's incredible.
That's his reality at the start.
Yeah.
But he perseveres.
He does, and quickly.
Yeah, and he figures out how to see light and dark, feel the warmth of the sun, the chill of the night.
Yeah.
He even learns to identify the source of sounds, like chirping birds.
And that's just the beginning.
Yeah.
He doesn't just passively experience his senses.
Right.
He actively uses them to learn and adapt to his environment.
Yeah. He finds shelter from the cold.
Yeah.
Discovers how to build a fire.
Yeah, figures out how to roast food.
For a better taste.
For a better taste, I mean.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
He's like a one-creature survival school.
Exactly. Figuring things out through pure instinct.
Right.
And observation.
And observation, no prior knowledge.
Right.
No guidance from anyone.
He's truly starting from scratch.
It's incredible.
Oh, really is.
One moment that really stuck with me
Yeah.
was when he describes burning his hand in the fire.
Yeah,
It's such a simple anecdote,
it is.
but it speaks volumes about his learning process.
Absolutely. And that experience goes beyond just feeling pain. Right.
It's about him grasping this concept of cause and effect.
Exactly.
Right. So he realizes that fire, which provides warmth,
Yeah.
can also cause harm.
Yes.
It's a crucial step in developing his understanding of the world.
Right. But his learning takes a very dark turn when he has his first encounters with other humans.
Oh, it's such a stark contrast
Yeah.
to his experiences with the natural world, right?
Right.
I mean, here he's met not with curiosity or neutrality,
Right.
but with fear and outright aggression.
The shepherd flees from him in terror.
Yeah.
The villagers attack him with stones, forcing him to retreat to a hovel for safety.
It's awful.
He says, grievously bruised by stones and many other kinds of missile weapons, I escaped to the open country.
It's tragic because you can just sense his yearning
Yeah.
for connection, you
Of
know?
course.
He observes humans from a distance, he sees them interact,
Right.
form bonds, and he craves that.
Yeah.
But his appearance terrifies those he encounters.
So he's left to learn about humanity
Yeah.
from the sidelines,
What?
from afar.
It sets the stage for an incredibly complex and emotionally charged journey
Absolutely.
as he seeks to understand both the world and his place within it.
And that leads us to the DeLacy family.
Yes.
And this is where I think things get even more interesting.
Yes.
Because his observations become more focused,
Right.
more emotionally driven.
He becomes completely fascinated by this family.
He does.
He observes them through a crack in the wall, learns about their daily routines,
Yeah.
their kindness, their love for each other.
He's drawn to their gentleness, their compassion.
It really makes you wonder what impact
Yeah.
witnessing this family's love
Mhm.
will have on him,
Right.
especially considering his own longing for connection.
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
And it's something we'll explore further in part 2 of our deep dive.
Okay.
But for now, let's just pause and let that question sink in for our listener.
Okay.
Think about the contrast between the creature's developing mind
Okay.
and the harsh realities he's facing.
Yeah.
It's a powerful juxtaposition.
It really is.
And I think it's something that will stay with us as we continue exploring his story.
Absolutely.
So we'll pick up right here in part 2.
Sounds good.
Until then,
Thanks for listening.
bye.
Bye.
Welcome back. We left off with the creature totally captivated by the DeLacy family.
Right.
I mean, he's yearning for that connection, but also terrified of rejection.
It's like such a delicate balance.
It really is.
Yeah, he's drawn to their warmth, but he's so aware of how different he is.
Exactly. And that tension really shapes his observations.
I see.
He's not just passively watching them.
Right.
He's actively trying to understand them,
Yeah.
decipher the nuances of human interaction.
It's like he's conducting his own social experiment,
Yeah.
but with incredibly high stakes.
Incredibly high stakes.
His sense of self-worth hinges on the outcome.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that he becomes really fascinated by is their music.
Oh.
He describes their singing as sweeter than the voice of the thrush or the nightingale,
Oh, wow.
which are birds whose songs he previously tried to imitate.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's like he's recognizing a higher level of beauty
Yeah,
and a more complex form of expression.
definitely. Yeah.
And it's not just the melody that moves him,
Right.
the emotion behind the music.
Yeah.
He senses the love and joy that infuse their singing,
Uh-huh.
and it resonates deeply with his own longing for connection.
I can see that.
You can almost feel his heart breaking as he listens,
I know.
knowing that he's excluded from that circle of warmth and belonging.
Absolutely.
It's sad.
But his learning goes beyond music.
Right.
He's also developing a very keen understanding of human emotion,
I see.
particularly through observing the young woman's interactions with her father.
Yeah, he's especially touched by her gentleness and care for the old man.
Right.
It's like he's witnessing a model for the kind of loving relationship that he craves,
Yeah.
but fears he can never have.
Right. And this is where his emotional intelligence really starts to blossom.
It's fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, he begins to grasp complex feelings like empathy, compassion,
Yeah.
selflessness.
It's amazing to think about.
I know.
He's essentially teaching himself to be human,
Yeah.
drawing on the DeLacy family as his blueprint.
It's remarkable, but there's also this tragic irony to his situation.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he's developing these profound emotional capacities,
Right.
yet he's doing so from a position of isolation and secrecy.
Yeah, it's like he's building this beautiful, intricate world inside himself,
Uh-huh.
but he's trapped within its walls.
Yeah, and that raises a crucial question.
What's that?
How long can this go on?
Right.
How long can he suppress his need for connection,
Yeah.
for genuine interaction?
He's clearly reaching a breaking point.
He is.
Yeah, the more he observes the DeLacy family, the more he yearns to be part of their lives.
Absolutely. And that sets the stage for a pivotal shift in the narrative.
Oh, bless
You
him.
know, he can't remain hidden forever.
Right. Sooner or later, he'll have to act on his desires.
Okay, so we left off with the creature kind of on the verge of a major decision.
Yeah.
He's been observing the DeLacy family,
Right.
you know, learning from them,
Yeah.
developing these deep feelings of empathy
Yeah.
and longing,
Uh-huh.
but he's also trapped in this cycle of fear
Of course.
and isolation.
Yeah, it's a classic dilemma.
It is.
The desire for connection,
Right.
battling against the fear of rejection.
Yeah, and for him, the stakes are so high.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
he's not just risking a
Yeah,
little
sorry.
awkwardness or
Yeah.
hurt feelings.
Right.
I mean, he's risking being cast out, attacked, maybe even killed.
Absolutely.
I mean, remember his previous encounters with humans
yes.
haven't exactly been welcoming.
Not at all.
And yet that pull towards the DeLacy family is just too strong to resist.
It really is.
I mean, he can't keep suppressing
right.
his need for connection.
Yeah, and so he starts taking these tentative steps towards engaging with them. It's almost like watching a child learning to navigate social situations.
I agree.
When he steals food from them,
Yes.
not out of malice,
Right.
but out of necessity.
I think that's a really good point.
I mean, he doesn't understand the social conventions
Right.
around property or theft.
Of course.
He's simply trying to survive,
Yeah.
and he sees the DeLacy family
Yeah.
as a source of sustenance.
Right. But there's also a deeper layer to his actions, I think.
Oh, absolutely.
Because he chooses to steal from the shepherd,
Right.
who represents that harshness and prejudice that he's already experienced,
Mm.
rather than the DeLacy family,
Right.
who embodies that kindness and compassion.
That he craves.
Yeah, and what's so fascinating here is that
Yeah.
he's already making moral distinctions.
Yeah, it's incredible.
He's developing a sense of right and wrong,
Right.
even though he's had very little guidance in that area.
It's like he's intuitively drawn towards goodness,
Yes.
even though he's been exposed to so much darkness.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is further emphasized
Yeah.
by his efforts to improve his hovel.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he makes it more comfortable, more
Yeah.
secure, almost as if he's preparing
Right.
for a future where he might be able to interact with the family more directly.
Like he's building a bridge between his isolated existence
Yes.
and their world.
Of warmth and belonging.
Exactly.
But the question remains, will they meet him halfway?
That's the question, right?
I mean, it's the central tension of this chapter,
Yes.
and really of the entire novel.
Uh-huh.
Can he, despite his monstrous appearance
Right.
and his unconventional origins,
Right.
find acceptance in a world that fears and rejects what it doesn't understand?
It's a powerful question.
It is, and we see hints of his plans starting to form
We do.
when he diligently learns their language,
Right.
by listening to them read aloud.
Right?
He even practices speaking,
He does.
though his first attempts are described as uncouth and inarticulate.
Right.
So he's laying the groundwork
Yeah.
for communication, for revealing himself and his story.
Nice trying.
But the outcome remains uncertain.
Absolutely.
Mary Shelley leaves us on this precipice
Right.
of anticipation,
Yeah.
knowing that his next move could have profound consequences.
It could.
So chapter 11 ends
Yeah.
with the creature watching as the DeLacy family
Uh-huh.
extinguishes their lights and settles in for the night.
Yeah.
But we, the readers, are left wide awake wondering what will happen
Absolute.
when the darkness lifts and the creature finally steps into the light.
Such a powerful ending.
It is.
It really invites us to reflect
Yeah.
on the themes of acceptance.
Right.
Prejudice,
Yeah.
the nature of humanity itself.
Exactly. I mean, what does it truly mean to be human?
Right.
And can someone who looks different,
Yeah.
who was created differently,
Right?
ever truly be accepted as one of us?
These are questions that resonate
They do.
far beyond the pages of Frankenstein.
Absolutely.
They're questions that we as a society are still grappling with today.
I agree. And perhaps that's why this story continues to captivate us
Yeah.
centuries after it was first written.
Right. So to our listener, we leave you with this.
Okay.
As you continue reading, pay close attention to how the creature's journey unfolds.
Okay.
Consider how his experiences shape his actions,
Okay.
and how his longing for connection ultimately drives the narrative forward.
Right.
And remember, sometimes the most profound insights
Yeah.
come from exploring the dark corners of our own hearts
Yeah.
and confronting the monsters that we create,
Okay.
both within ourselves and in the world around us.
Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.